hitting the. So normally, on a normal setup, if everything's working right, I'd come in, I'd hit start, I'd ramp up, go on, you keep a lot of, because it changed, nothing's ever the same perfectly run from run. But you know, we'd set the puller to 275, and so I'd start the extruder slow, crank it up to 600, and I'd just let it bleed out. Because when it first comes out, it's kind of grainy, and sometimes you'll have like be a piece of material in there and it'll cause like a line in it, so you can take your putty knife, kind of clean the dies to try to remove that. So you let that bleed out until it looks, you know, not grainy or anything. And you usually have like, you might have 5 pounds on the floor. So then once that's ready to go, I'll hit the start button. So I'll have my knife trying to cut most of it away, and then I'll hit the start button and pull that glob off, throw it on the floor. So it's going. Now I'm watching my hot read. So the hot read on this one looks like it's bouncing around 605 to 610. So I'll just increase my extruder up or down to get the hot read where it is. And usually you take a piece of red tape when you know it's good, put it on there. That way when it gets, by the time it gets to the other end, you know you got good product. That's how a normal startup is. So turn the extruder on, crank it up to set speed, let it come out until it looks pure and clean. Hit the start button, grab the plastic, throw it down, and then adjust to get your hot read to the right second. And then you're just
the whole time there will be conduit.
Yep, yep.
It will be threaded up.
So, and this is how we coupled one piece of conduit to the other. All right, so we got a piece of inner member that goes in between, usually just like a 8 to 12 inch piece. And we crimp both sides of the coupler. And so this time we don't have conduit on this side. But Terry got the inner member that goes in, I think the 583. I think we're switching to the 662. So in this case, since we just have the inner member, we just put that into the conduit and then have the coupler over the conduit, and it just be coupled just like that. And you got to get a good crimp on there.
Because it's full.
Yeah, because it has tension on there, and you're going to end up having to restring it just like we did the first day if it comes apart. But if I'm just testing things, obviously once the heat, you got to let the heat come on and settle up. And you're just testing to see. When you was jumping that wire, it looked normal. So it'll say stop, you'll hit start, and then it'll show the RPM, like 0 or whatever. We'll just crank it up. So that's how you can test that. The pullers should run without the extruder on, but that's not something we do a lot. So if they're not, but you have the screw running, and the pullers aren't coming on, I would just leave it on 0 RPM, turn that on so you don't have plastic actually coming out. It'll slowly leak, but then you can test it that way too. So you can try. I would try testing the pullers without the extruder on at all. If they're not coming on, I'd set to 0, hit start, test the pullers like that, and it should come on. This is the dial for the pullers. So when off that sheet, when we want to set whatever the puller at, so that's just the dial for there. This is obsolete. Put an X over that. Before we used to have a manual gear change to select the different speeds, but now it's been changed, so that's that's just for helping control the tension. So this is another piece that isn't working. So it used to be that the take-up was automatic, right? So you could just kind of set the speed here. Right now they're just using a clutch. But there's a nut there, and you can tighten or loosen that nut. Yeah, some more pressure on the clutch. Because you just don't want it going up to speed and then overspinning. So you can just kind of throw it on there. If they get the extruder working right, that's great. I would leave the pullers up just like I have them now, because we don't want to we're just testing stuff. So So both pullers are up and there's no air pressure on the accumulator. We don't want it to actually run through. But both pullers are up. And that way you can turn the pullers on and just watch them to make sure they're actually turning. If that's working right, then we can then you set both pullers down.
No matter which one you set first,
No.
because it's not running.
Right.